He has helped thousands of people around the world discover the strongest version of themselves. Welcome to the Wolf Official Show. And now, here's your host, Carl Wolfgang Schultz.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wolf Official Show. It's me, your host, Carl Wolfgang Schultz, and I have a little bit of a cold today, but I'm working really hard on getting through it. As you can see, I'm still here today trying to make a podcast episode. But while I was going through my cold, I was thinking to myself that, we all have our own battles in life. And, there's battles overseas that people are fighting. And there's people here domestically that are fighting. And we all have different battles that we are fighting. So I thought there would be a no better episode than to talk about believing. And there's a lot of scary things that are happening right now. I'm no dummy. I know that, overseas there's wars and stuff going on, and it's really quite scary. And I think the media has a lot to do with it. It plays it up a lot, and it really scares us. I'll be honest, it scares me, but at the same time, I don't really let it worry me, because it's not here in front of me, and it's out of my control. Whatever happens, like, type of thing. I believe that you have to pick and choose what you're going to believe in. There's battles that are fought every day, but you have to pick your battle. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at the media, you're pretty much getting yourself like all involved in their battle and type of stuff. And you're at some point, you got to live your life, and you got to start living your own battle. And handling your own battles within is really difficult, and not a lot of people want to try to do that. They don't want to try to take on that responsibility of making their dreams come true, type of thing. But the focus here is about believing, and do you know how to believe? And I have some simple tips here that I want to share with you. I want to roll into some of the things that have been going on in my life lately. Just kind of maybe you can correlate with that and see how it applies to your life. And this should be a pretty good episode. So the first thing is I go to school, right? So I go to college, and I had a really bad semester. I think I passed 50% of my classes, and it was really hard for me, because I didn't know what was going on. I was working really hard with my other business, and making music and my website and podcasting, and I don't regret anything. I don't regret working hard on the things that I wanted to take care of while I was going to school. Most people, when they go to school to learn and to go to class and do well in school. But for me, it was a little bit different, because I needed to start my business, and I needed to get it rolling. I had to, in essence, believe in my business and get it off the ground and rolling. And it consisted of writing a lot of blog posts and coming out with a lot of episodes and things like that. So that's a good example of me believing in that, because most people will go to school and they'll get a job, and that's great. That's probably what I'll do. But I don't think they tend to go a lot further than that. I don't think they tend to believe in themselves a little bit further than that. And so that's kind of what this episode is about. Some simple tips, and some things to get your mind going, and, as they say, get your juices flowing. So I had a bad semester, and I was thinking about it, and I was wondering why did I not do this good semester? And I think it's because I wasn't 100% focused on school, which is compared to the last semester I had A's and B's, because I was 100% focused on that. And I think next semester I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to work really hard on on passing my classes, number one, but also just kind of, I'm still going to do my other stuff too. But all of this has a lot to do with just believing in what you're doing. And sometimes you don't want to spread yourself too thin, but you kind of have to sometimes. And for me, what I want to do is I want to get my college education, and I want to do my business. So it's kind of it's not really a give and take. I don't have a choice. I'm going to do both. So it's like, it's it's hard because you got to focus. You got to focus on your school, but you also need to take care of yourself financially. So what that has to do with the war earlier that I was talking about, like the battles and stuff like that, is live your life. I feel for the people that are over there that are, I think they're called refugees, that the ones that had to leave. I'm not 100% sure what they're called, but the people who are caught in the crossfire, basically, and they had to evacuate. I was watching like a little NBC thing. It got me all worked up and stuff like that, which is probably not a good idea, but I watched it for a few minutes. I never watch it too long, but I was looking at it, and I was just thinking about them and what they have, and I was just wondering to myself, like, do they have options to go to college and stuff like that? They're just kind of like, I don't know. It's all Hollywood, but what they were doing, I'm sure that stuff actually happened, but it was definitely, it was an eye-opener because, I'm over here going to college and I had my own online business and stuff like that, and then you go and you think about that stuff over there and kind of puts things into perspective for you here. So what I would do if I was in that position is, believe basically that, you can get out of there, and, and you can. It's just, it takes a lot of focus in a certain area, because I'm lucky right now to be going to school and doing my own thing because there's not a war going on here. But if there was a war, I would still have this in the back of my mind, but I would give a little bit more attention to obviously what's happening in front of me. So believing is really important in a lot of different things. So that has to do with school. Let's go on to the next thing, is motivation. So no matter where you're at, you got to have this thing they call why. Your why, spelled W-H-Y. I don't mean to insult anybody, but sometimes I don't pronounce or enunciate myself very well. So you have to have your why in life, and whatever it is, it has to drive you. It has to move you. It has, it's like a purpose. It's like a reason. And one of the things I've been looking and exploring lately is, what is my why? And I kind of figured out like what my why is, and I think it has a lot to do with seeing people that aren't doing well financially. It bothers me for some reason that people are working their lives away, and and I understand that you need that, but I also know that there's a lot of people who aren't educated financially, and it just bothers me because I know that they may not be happy, in their own lives, and it causes me stress because even though it's out of my control, I know that I have the option to help them. Like I have the capability of helping them. I can help them, and it just is going to take a lot of strategy and stuff like that. But I want to inform them, and I want to teach them how to be financially independent and stuff like that. So yeah, I was exploring that for a long time, what why is and what makes people do what they do. And for me, again, it was like my family and like seeing them work a lot, and like it kind of just made me want to, I don't know, help them and help the people that I love that are around me. And I'm sure a lot of people like yourself and like a lot of other people are trying to do the same thing, help the ones that they love, because that's what it's about, coming together and teaching people and stuff like that, and like raising your level of standard of living and health and stuff like that. So I challenge you to explore what your why is. Like, if you can find out what your why is, you have a lot better chance of succeeding with a lot of things, figuring things out, researching and stuff like that. So work hard on figuring out what makes you wake up in the morning and get things done. Like, was it money? Is it health? Is it someone who needs you? Do they need medicine? Like, what is it? So that's that. And that comes down to believing in yourself. It has a lot to do with believing in yourself. So let's jump a little bit further. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is having others come on my podcast. So I'm really, really, really happy that I made this podcast, because now I can invite others and I can interview them and we can talk on the podcast. And it's like, it's really, really, like, I'm just very happy that I made this, because now I'm seeing a lot of other people that are excited to go on podcasts and get interviewed. And I'm just really happy because I'm here and I'm situated, and just, it's really fun. So I get to talk to people and learn about them and help them out. So that's really cool. But that, again, has to do with what we're talking about today, which is believing. And I wouldn't have this podcast, I wouldn't be recording today if I didn't, do my research and figure out that this would be an option for me down in the future. And I'm not making money doing this. I'm actually spending a lot of money. I spend like $100 a year to have this podcast, on all different apps and different mediums and stuff like that. So, it's not free, but I do it because I know that I can help a lot of people this way. And I'm starting to see how many people are actually reviewing or listening to my podcast, and it's really cool, and I want to get more people on it, and I just really want to set the tone and guide the show and like help people. But it has a lot to do with believing. And if I didn't believe a long time ago that I could actually do a podcast, then, what's the point? Like, you have to believe in yourself. And I remember a long time ago, I used to watch Pat Flynn, or listen to Pat Flynn. I think he was one of the first podcasts that I started listening to, and it's been a long journey since then, but he definitely opened my eyes to just another life out there on the internet, with like podcasts and whatnot, and making passive income. And like, so that was a long time ago. That was probably like 7 years ago. But the thing is, now I can't believe I'm actually, like on my, what is this, the 46th episode? It's pretty cool. So again, like, you have to believe in yourself. And that had a lot to do with way back when, and I was young and I didn't know everything. I still don't know everything, but it's, believing is really important. So I wanted to talk about that, just briefly, having others come on my podcast and interviewing, because it's not always about me, it's about everybody else, and getting them on the show with you, and then opening everyone's eyes to the different possibilities that are out there, and retaining those people on the podcast is really important, because it definitely helps people start believing again. Let's move on to the next one. We only have a couple left. This is not going to be too long of a podcast, but so the next one is work. Actually, this is the last one that we're going to talk about, is work. So, again, work bothers me. I understand that sometimes I'm low on cash and that I need money, and I need to invest it. But the only reason I'm going to work is because I need to pay the bills, or I'm looking to make more money for passive income by investing in dividend stocks or lending out money through Lending Club, stuff like that. So it bothers me when people have to go to work. And I just want to give you a quick little tip when you're looking for a job. So for all my friends and family out there looking for a job right now, here's what I think you should do. I think you need to make certain that you understand that if you go and work full-time at a job, okay, that is going to take up a lot of your time, all right? You're going to be constantly dwelled and overwhelmed and involved in your work, and that's going to take away from the things that you need to be doing with your life, which is focusing on like building your business, basically. So you don't want to work too hard, all right? So, but when you do need to get a job, okay, you need to look around, all right? Don't just hear word of mouth, like, oh, these guys are hiring. That helps too, but you need to go to your local employment office. I've been there before. I've gone on a website I like, is Indeed.com. That's Indeed.com. deed.com. And that's a perfect one. Monster.com. Like, there's a few other ones that I've used before, but the best one I've ever had luck with, and that's super easy, is Indeed.com. But you can also go to the local college campus and you can find work there on some of their bulletin boards. Where else could you go? You can look in your newspaper, and see what's there. But I would definitely leverage the internet and see what kind of jobs you can get there. There's just a ton. But also, again, the employment office in your county is a good place to look because it has just a ton. It has like a huge printout, a roster full of jobs, and they'll interview you right there, and they do like a lot of the work for you. So it's really, really, really convenient. That's where I would go. But then if you go on the college campus, you can find a lot of jobs there too. You just kind of you gotta network a little bit on campus, but you can also look up jobs on their website. You might need to be a student, but I think you could probably also do it as a guest. I don't know, but there's definitely bulletin boards at the student union that post a lot of jobs there too. So this is kind of wrapping up this podcast episode about do you know how to believe? And here are some simple tips that you can use. So I hope that you learned a little bit today. I know I enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see you on the next podcast episode. It's always something different every time. But I really appreciate you listening this long, and I can't wait to see what you will succeed at in the future. If you haven't already, go to my website, wolfofficial.com, and explore. Just see if there's anything that works for you. And if there isn't anything, shoot me a comment or something and let me know how I can improve and better cater to you and what's going on in your life, because I know that life is very hard, but don't give up, and you have to believe. Definitely believe in yourself. Again, I'm sick right now, and it's hard. It's not like really, really hard, but I'm sick and it sucks. But definitely believe in yourself. You have to believe. Like, I wouldn't have. I don't want to go into it, but just believe in yourself, because this is the end of the episode, and make today, live for today like it was your last. You know what I mean? So get everything you can done and get it out of the way today. And I hope that you complete everything on your to-do list, because, I know we all know how those things can get pretty long. Okay, thank you again for listening to this podcast episode. I'm Carl, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. All right, everyone, have a good day. Bye.